Thank you for staying with us in our first story. Joy News investigations have revealed that the country's biggest indigenous cocoa buying company, the PBC's market share, has seen a steep decline from 30.88% to 8% over the last 5 years. In January last year, the management of the company hinted of downsizing its staff because it was unable to meet financial and operational obligations to its workers. In August 2022, management of that institution issued a memo it was unable to pay salaries to staff. It's now a tale of huge debt, fallen revenue, tons of cocoa beans stuck in the farms, and produce clerks engaged in double trading to survive. There is more in the following report put together by our investigative desk.
In 2021, a whistleblower and senior staff of the produce buying company Frederick Akakpo petitioned the presidency over the possible bankruptcy of the state-owned venture. He raised alarm about the downward trend of PBC's market shares. In his petition to the president, he made a prediction about the market share of the company. He stated that if PBC's market share should hit a single digit, it will spell doom for the state-owned company.
Exception of our new management, I realized our fortunes per market share were falling, and as I indicated earlier, and it affected our remunerations. You know something? For the past 6 years, we have never had even 1% salary increment, and you can imagine the hardships we are all finding ourselves through in Ghana now. Even 1%, we have, because yes, it's true. The financial difficulties and challenges we are facing, and it's all because we are not able to buy in volumes. That is why I wanted to inform the presidency. I wanted to inform the appropriate bodies to have a second look how best they can help PBC to stand on its feet to buy in volumes.
As it stands now, with the way PBC's market share is dropping, we are in the 2022-2023 cocoa season. With the way the trend is going, what do you think PBC's market share is likely to be in this season?
I'm not a prophet of doom, but we all have to be honest and be truthful to ourselves. As I predicted 2 years ago, that if things are not changed, as we have been doing things, we will be buying a single digit. And if we buy a single digit, it means we are not going to be able to pay ourselves and sustain the business. Everybody will be going home.
Mr. Akakpo blamed management for the predicament of PBC and urged a change in business strategy to protect the livelihood of over 900 staff and 15,000 commission-based clerks. Mr. Akakpo, after blowing the whistle, was suspended, demoted, and eventually sacked for drawing the attention of the presidency to save the company and enable it buy in huge volumes of cocoa.
Invited by PBC executive management, they intimidated me. Now, why should I write to the presidency to tell the president? Why should I write to the presidency? Then I explained myself to them. Then I explained myself to them and I left. Then I was interdicted. But after I met executive management and I explained myself to them, you know one thing that surprised me? There was not a single question from the executive management as to solutions I have for PBC, because I wrote a letter to the presidency explaining our downtrending fortunes of PBC.
Let's talk energy now, and there will be an interruption of power supply beginning tomorrow, April the 1st. This is due to an intended shutdown of the Akakpo processing plant by the Ghana Gas Company for thorough maintenance works. The shutdown, Joy News is learning, will affect gas supply to some power plants. The Energy Ministry, in a statement earlier, urged the Electricity Company of Ghana to publish a load-shedding program for the outages. Director of Communications at Ghana Gas, Ernest Owusu-Bempah, says the maintenance is necessary for maximum performance of the plant.
The engineers thought it wise that we need to do some major maintenance routine, and hence the shutdown. And one of the key ingredients that has contributed to the reduction of doomsaw and all those recklessness going on is because of the fact that we have a good maintenance culture, and that has helped us in terms of maintaining the gas processing plant. They're looking at the whole gas processing plant, from where we extract the raw gas from to where we transfer the gas for power generation, LPG, condensate, and the rest. So the whole gas processing plant is like a machine. It's like a car going to the mechanic for servicing. I think it's starting from April. We have what we call a tie-in. Ghana Gas Processing Plant is supplying almost about 110 SCF. Sankofa is also supplying. So the combination is giving us about 350 million SCF. So if Ghana Gas stops, the rest of the other is shut down. The rest of the other gas fields will be flowing gas and pushing it to Abuazi processing plant, Abuazi for thermal generation. So obviously, we're going to be having gas. And then WAPCO has also assured us that they will also be pushing gas to the eastern enclaves as well. So a combination of that with a little bit of support of heavy fuel to also power some of our thermal plants, I think that is going to be, we're good to go.
Let's go to Parliament now, and that House is expected to go on Easter break today. But 3 outstanding tax measures are still yet to get the House's approval. The tax bills together could contribute up to 4 billion cedis to the national kitty, without which government has said it may not get an IMF bailout. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante now reports on that matter.
Another day in Parliament and barely 24 hours for Parliament to go on Easter break as per its tentative schedule. Parliament has still not approved the 3 controversial tax measures that came with the 2023 budget. Those 3 tax bills have been on the order paper for some time now and has still not been approved. The income tax amendment, the excise duty amendment, and the growth and sustainability amendment bills have all been staying in Parliament for some considerable time, and at the end of this quarter, the first quarter of the new year, government is still yet to get the needed revenue, as it says. The President, the Finance Minister, the Information Minister, and other key government functionaries have all said that these are prior actions that government will need to get through before it can get the IMF loan. These 3 measures, and to start with, the income tax amendment bill is expected to rake in 1.2 billion cedis annually. It is expected to amend the income tax laws of Ghana. It will exempt minimum wage earners and would alter foreign exchange losses treatment in financial statements. The other one, having to do with the excise duty amendment bill, is expected to rake in about 400 million Ghana cedis annually, and will achieve this by imposing 20% tax on e-smoking and fruit juices in this country. And finally, the Growth and Sustainability Amendment Bill is expected to rake in 2.2 billion Ghana cedis annually and will replace the current National Fiscal Stabilization Levy. With barely 24 hours for Parliament to go on break, that is if they adhere to the timeline they set for themselves, government is still yet to get through this. And today, quite surprisingly, some protesters were here in Parliament asking MPs to pass this bill into law.
We are losing a lot of lives in this country, especially the youth. So we are here for them to pass that law for us so that the youth will be saved. Because most of the youth are dying for cancer, like 17 years, 18 years, they are losing their life of this smoking habit and other things. That electronic shisha pipeline, these things are air koswa. Boss, minumi ya again say, and kofu air shromonkwa air nyayare ewo my room. So we are praying say abine beboy that so that they can pass that law for us. That's what we are here.
The statistics from Ghana Health Service is saying that most of these youths are using these devices, the e-smoking devices, shisha and the rest. The bill that is before Parliament seeks to impose more taxes on these products so that they can be able to pass into law and help us come out and protect the youth. For instance, if you look at the e-smoking devices that are rampant these days in the country, most of them are from these businessmen. When this bill is being passed, because of the taxes, most of these businessmen cannot go outside and bring them in. And we believe that government of the day is trying to protect the Ghanaian youth. That's why we youth in accountable governance is saying that there is a need for us to get ourselves involved. Most importantly, we believe that when the bill is being passed, it will hasten the progress at which we are at currently now on the IMF stage. You know, so that because we are in difficulties right now.
Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Let's stay in Parliament, but from the legal angle, and an Accra High Court has ruled that Minority Leader Dr. Cassiel Forson has a case to answer on the allegation that he played a key role in the procurement of defective ambulances. The transaction has resulted in a loss of more than €2 million to the state. The Attorney General called 5 witnesses, including Health Minister Kweku Agyeman-Menu, to testify against Dr. Forson. Lawyers for Dr. Forson urged the court to acquit and discharge him since a case had not been made requiring him to respond. Legal Affairs correspondent Joseph Akakpo now reports.
Dr. Forson is standing trial together with former Chief Director at the Ministry of Health, Seth Animana, and businessman Richard Jakpa. The state is said to have lost more than €2 million because of the procurement of defective ambulances. The Minority Leader and other accused persons have always maintained their innocence.
The coincidence speaks volume about the motivation for these frivolous and baseless charges. In fact, I call it e-levy charges. A cursory reading of the frivolous and politically motivated charges shows that my only role in the entire transaction was to have signed a letter on behalf of the Minister of Finance.
The Attorney General disagrees. Through 5 witnesses, he insisted that the 3 accused persons have a case to answer. The case against the Minority Leader borders on 2 letters he authored. The main one had asked the Bank of Ghana to establish letters of credit for the ambulance supplier. The AG contends this was contrary to the terms of the contract, as payments should have been made only after pre-shipment inspection. Lawyers for Dr. Forson, however, argue that issuance of letters of credit does not amount to payment. They also insist he wrote these letters in his capacity as Deputy Minister for the Finance Minister, tasked and authorized by the Finance Minister, Seth Tekpe. The court, presided over by Justice Ifia Asare-Botwe, in its ruling noted that every party in the case admits in one way or the other that the ambulances imported into the country were defective. On the question of whether Dr. Forson was authorized to write the said letter, Justice Asare-Botwe said lawyers for Dr. Forson seem to have misapprehended the law. The court said once the AG stated that Dr. Forson did not have such authority and Dr. Forson replied that he had seen, the responsibility was on him to show that he had the said authority. Evidence before the court, he noted, shows that Seth Tekpe even told prosecutors he did not have much information when he gave his statement. All 3 accused persons have been ordered to open their defense. The case is back in court on April 13.
Now, a committee tasked by the Ministry of Local Government to investigate the Ketia market fire has started work. The committee toured the market to access first-hand information on its management, including the area affected by the fire. Management of the facility, led by Edmund Kofi-Dufour, took the team through the market. Nana Yaljima has more in this report.
The committee, inaugurated on Wednesday, is chaired by Professor Theophilus Ejekumi of the Department of Construction Technology and Management at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Other members include private legal practitioner Francis Kofi, real estate consultant, Kofi Ampon, and Deputy Director General for NADMO, Daniel Kwekudente. Emilia Ajeben Butche serves as secretary to the committee. Deputy Minister for the Ministry of Local Government, Osei Bonsu Amwa, spoke about the composition of the committee.
They are supposed to bring their findings and recommendations within 3 weeks to ensure that at least we get to the bottom of this matter. And as we were told at the inauguration, they are free to invite witnesses to be able to arrive at their findings and then to make recommendations. The decision was not to involve any board member on the committee. The board members are free to appear before the committee. The decision was also made not to involve the various associations at the market, including their reps on the board. They are free to appear before the committee to tell their story. So we are hoping that within 3 weeks, when the findings and recommendations are ready, the minister would also act on them and then would see a better situation as far as the market is concerned. And obviously, whatever lessons we learn, they will also be applied to the one under construction.
All committee members on their first day of work were present at the Kejitia market. Together with a team from the Kumasi City Markets Limited, they went to parts of the market affected by the fire. Other areas, including fire installations and CCTV rooms, were among areas of interest. The committee refused to speak to their impressions on the fact-finding mission. The committee's terms of reference include inquiry into circumstances of and establish the facts leading to the fire outbreak. They would also inquire into matters incidental or reasonably related to cause of the fire outbreak and also inquire into efficient operation, maintenance and management of the market. The ministry expects the committee to submit a report on their findings and give recommendations with the view of preventing future disasters. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima, Kumasi.
Well, that'll be our final story for you, but stay with us. My own colleague, you heard from him this morning, Joseph Akable, joins me as I get into the paper.